So there are two reasons to be so happy if you're an Arsenal fan. And of course, we're going to be speaking about both of them in this video. We're of course going to be speaking about the Man United game, and we're also going to be speaking about some Arsenal backlash that I don't really understand. And of course, I want to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on it. Before we get into the video though, if you could do me a very quick favor, please just hit like on this video. So I'm going to start this video with a very quick question. The Arsenal versus Man United game was brilliant in terms of a result. And I just wanted to ask very quickly, who was your man of the match? I've seen a couple of people choosing some different options, like Saka or Declan Rice or William Saliba. So before I get into the video, just let me know who was your Arsenal versus Manchester United man of the match. So I'm going to start this off with the first bit of good news. And of course, it's not about Arsenal, so I'll touch on it very quickly. And that is just simply the fact that Liverpool dropped points. And this is extra sweet for me because, like, my closest friend, well, they're like family, right, are Liverpool fans. And I've heard for so long, I can't tell you how many times I've heard, oh, Liverpool are so much better than Arsenal. Arsenal dropped point. Arsenal were 10 points in the league and you bottled it. And now Liverpool are on the verge of doing the exact same thing. I can't tell you how sweet it is. And look, of course, as football or as Arsenal fans, we just need to focus on our own team. But the fact that Liverpool dropped points, so many of us have been saying there will come a point in the season where Liverpool start to drop points. This brilliant form that they're showing, we've all showed our appreciation for and said, look, it's a good team. They're pulling out some good results. But we've also said, look, there will come a time where they go through a rocky patch. They will drop points. Is this the start of that rocky patch? And look, it might not be. They might pick up where they was a week ago and start winning a load of games again. But it could just be Everton away. Bit of a tricky game for them. They might drop points in that game. And then all of a sudden, it's a totally different picture. And that's how quickly football can change. That's the beauty of it. At 1 minute, you're on top of the world. The next minute, you're panicking, thinking, oh, we need to get points in this next game. Otherwise, yeah, it could be on the line. I don't know. But we're going to speak about the Manchester United game now because it was so good. And there's so many talking points, like I said, that I want to get people's thoughts on. But there was actually 3 people able to get the correct scoreline, which, of course, was Arsenal 2, Man United 0. And those people were, I'm going to flash the names up on screen now so you can see who was able to get it right. And that was Sam Fasese, I could be butchering these names here, Marius Clevier, and Bad Dogs or Burgers. All 3 of you, well done, because you was able to get, you know, out of 50 people, you was the 3 able to guess the correct scoreline. So well done. So let's start it off with the team sheet. Before the game even started, the team sheet comes out. You see no Gabriel, no Calafiori, and you're thinking, okay, who's playing? Zinchenko and Jakub Kiwior. And if I was to say I wasn't slightly concerned about that left-hand side, I'd probably be lying. Now, I still thought we had a good enough team to beat Man United, but there was a little something in my mind saying, will that left-hand side be weaker? Both of these guys haven't really played that much football for Arsenal, so they're bound to, if they're not be as good as the other players, at least be off the pace slightly because they're not up to match speed. So, you know, I had a bit of a reservation going into the game about that left-hand side. But yeah, I mean, the game started and they actually done pretty well. We're going to be speaking about both of them because, they was actually good down there. Kiwior in particular at centre-back was absolutely, he integrated into the team almost flawlessly. He had a very, very good performance. And, you know, it's just a signal to Mikel Arteta, maybe of him saying, look, I'm here. I'm an option. If you need to use me, if you want to rotate Gabriel, at times I can come in and do a good job. So I thought that was good. Game started and we had an early Martinelli offside goal. And that was kind of like, okay, well, Arsenal seemed to be starting this game on the front foot. Man United probably was slightly cautious of what Arsenal can do up front. But after that, I think it slightly dropped off, and there was a period of the game where it was like Man United had a portion of the ball, and it actually flashed up on the screen at one point that it was 60-40. Man United coming to the Emirates and had 60% possession. Wasn't really how I imagined the game to be played out in my head, but there we go. And then we had the Partey free header from the corner, and I was thinking that is an opportunity that you have to score. I didn't know how many corners we was going to get in this game, but I was thinking we're so strong from set pieces. At that moment, I made a note of it because I thought it was an important miss. I thought, you know, you need to be taking your moments. At the end of the day, Arsenal had so many corners, and we deserved to, because towards the end of the game we were so good. So it didn't really matter in the end. And then after that, I've just written it's a fairly even game. Both sides, like I said, had a 10-minute portion of the game where they seemed to be fairly comfortable. Arsenal for 10 minutes, and then Man United for 10 minutes. But I did notice Partey and Timber early on, we was kind of miscontrolling the ball a lot. A couple of misplaced passes, which was kind of not what I'm used to seeing when it comes to these players. You know, Timber, Partey, they're both usually very good on the ball. They're good at starting those attacks. But there was a few misplaced passes in key areas where I was thinking, on another day, that could have punished us. Is it something we need to be aware of? Not really, but it's just something I noticed and I made a note of. But then half-time came. At the end of half-time, I was kind of thinking this game, you know, I obviously was still hoping Arsenal could win, but I was saying we don't really look the dominant team. It's fairly even at this point. There was parts of the Man United team that I thought we could get at, like, I don't know, the fact that they had that back three and then the four midfielders, I thought we could definitely exploit it down the wings. And to be fair, the wingers at times were pushing the defenders back. They was always going on the outside, and if they wasn't able to whip the ball in, they was winning them corners, which was showed because we had so many corners in that game. And then you had that Timber goal, 53 minutes, and it was like a set piece. Another set piece goal for Arsenal. Yova definitely deserves a pay rise. It's like, I don't know, we're going to speak about it in a minute because it's just so funny, the reaction you're seeing from Man United fans. And it's not even just United fans. It seems like everyone's grouping together to try and call out Arsenal and try and ruffle our feathers and try and put a negative on what is such a positive thing. But then the game continued, and look, I'll be honest, I literally said to my son, we was watching it together, and I said, look, Zinchenko, because he was quite cautious of Zinchenko on that left-hand side, and he was worried that they was going to catch us on the break or Zinchenko would make a mistake. And I literally said whenever it was, 55, 60 minutes, I said, look, Zinchenko's actually had a quite good game. What do you think? And he said, yeah, he's actually surprised me. He seems to be pretty comfortable. And then about 2 minutes after, Zinchenko loses the ball and gets that yellow card, and that's what kind of frustrates people with Zinchenko. Now, all in all, I actually think it was a positive showing from Zinchenko, but it was just that one moment where you think, 1 minute you think, do you know what, you're actually doing all right. And then the next minute he kind of just gives the ball away, and then he gives away a silly foul, and you're thinking, Zinchenko, that is what is so frustrating. But like I said, all in all, I actually think it was a positive showing from Zinchenko. But then we had that David Raya save, and it's hard to put into words just how important that save was. Because if that goal goes in, it is a totally different game. Arsenal don't necessarily go on to score the second goal. If Man United, at that point in time, get that goal to go 1-0, it's like, it's a totally different game because the momentum shifts, and then like it could have been all Man United, and they could literally have gone on to win that game. So it's such a brilliant save. I've heard a few people saying, oh, he's only doing it for the cameras. Rubbish, no chance. He was at full stretch to save that ball, and that is a world-class save. That is such an important save in that moment. David Raya deserves huge credit for just how big and important that save was for us. And then we have the Saliba goal, and again, it's another set piece. Saliba didn't even necessarily know it went in. At first, when you just see Saliba running off, you think, yes, another well-worked corner, but in the end it comes off his bum, and it's like, I don't care how it goes in. The fact that it goes in and it's 2-0, it's just like, you can breathe. This game is basically wrapped up. You still need to keep your heads, you still need to be switched on, but at 2-0 in the 70th minute, it's just a great position to be in at home. You know you got a strong defense who's playing well in that moment. And yeah, it was just so good when that Saliba goal went in. And then we had the Havertz chance, and that would have been the one to seal it. At first, if I'm being honest, when Havertz went through, I'm thinking, you need to score that. You have to go across the keeper. When you see it from a couple of different angles, you can probably say it's quite a difficult chance. I still feel some strikers in that position still would have been able to score that goal. I still think Havertz, maybe in a different game, in a different moment, would have been able to score that goal. He's just gone for a small gap to the left of the keeper. And maybe you could say it was a good save. Maybe you could say the angle weren't there. I'm not going to slate Havertz, but I was just hoping that goal went in, but it didn't. And this is where I want to speak about these people who are so like so convinced, like they're trying to put a downer on what is such a positive when it comes to Arsenal. Look, Arsenal had 13 corners to Man United 0. So to people calling us Stoke 2.0 or saying Arsenal are just a set piece team, it should be, it's anti-football. It makes me laugh so much because I would guarantee if you offered their team the chance to be as dominant at corners as Arsenal are, 100% they would take it. It's not even a question. If you said to a Chelsea fan, a United fan, a City fan, you could have the same amount of goals as Arsenal from a corner, you just got a sign here, 100% they would take it. So it's like, it's totally hypocritical. They would want their own team to be doing the same thing. They just want a reason to try and dig out Arsenal. They want to try and stick the boot in on something that is such a positive. There's so many football clubs around this country and other countries that will be looking at what Arsenal do and taking notes from it because it's so effective. Corners are a crucial part of football. It's not a new thing. That's always been the case. If you asked Real Madrid they can win the Champions League with one goal off of a corner, you think they wouldn't take it because it's anti-football. Absolute rubbish. Arsenal are just the best team in the world at taking corners and people hate to admit it. People don't like Arsenal being this dominant. It frustrates them. So what do they have to do? They have to try and put a negative on it. They have to try and call Arsenal out and say it's anti-football. I tell you what's anti-football. Your tears, because you keep crying so much because your team can't defend what my team puts against them. I don't know. Let me know your guys' thoughts on it. Why do you think so many people are crying about Arsenal and these set pieces? Oh, you pushed Højlund for the goal. It should never have stood. It happens in every single game. Every time Arsenal concede a set piece, which has been a few times this season, a player always gets a push. Someone's always off balance. Someone's always blocking the goalkeeper. Don't cry about it. If the referee doesn't give it, it's not a foul. I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it. That's my mini rant. I just thought it's hilarious seeing all these people, all these grown men crying about, oh, Arsenal are cheating on corners. Stop crying. Get on with it. Arsenal are the best team in the world at taking corners. Thanks so much to everyone for watching and listening. Before you go, if you could, do me a very quick favour. Just hit like and subscribe, and I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.